We did an experiment looking at the effects of radiation on plants. We had 3 different samples. On the first sample, we had one plant that was exposed to gamma radiation. On the second, we had UV radiation, and on the third was a control. Now, over 3 days, they appeared to have the same growth rate, so we added a fourth one with alpha radiation, which was a fair bit more strong than gamma radiation, because we were afraid that they wouldn't really show any difference. So over 10 days, where our predictions were correct, they were pretty much the same, but the alpha radiation was more withered and of darker color. So let's have a closer look at what radiation is, specifically alpha radiation. Now when we're looking at radiation, we look at the nucleus, the center of an atom. In this nucleus, we have protons and neutrons, and when there are too many of these, the center becomes unstable. Therefore, it emits a particle, in this case an alpha particle, which is 2 neutrons and 2 protons. Along with this, it also emits energy. Alpha radiation is characterized by being very ionizing, meaning its ability to knock off electrons from other atoms, but not very penetrating, meaning its range is very small. It loses energy quite quickly. Now, looking at gamma radiation instead, they don't exactly emit particles, they emit gamma rays. And gamma rays have a very high penetration power, but they are not very ionizing, meaning they don't have very much of an effect on living tissue. Now, let's take a closer look at what's happening here at the source. So we have here where it's sending out energy to these plants, where they absorb about 1.767 times 10 to the power negative 8 joules of energy, and this is a dosage equivalent of approximately 600 millisieverts per hour. The total absorption over the 7 days is approximately 100 sieverts. Considering that 10 sieverts is a deadly dose for human beings, this is a very, very high dosage received, meaning it's almost inevitable for it to have not been mutated in some way. Now, Mars One scientists have claimed that the amount of radiation that Mars itself is exposed to without any protection whatsoever is approximately 30 microsieverts per hour, and with protection such as aluminum shields, there is approximately 11 millisieverts per year that the settlers would be exposed to. Now, this may not actually sound like a lot, but compared to Earth, where there's 3 millisieverts per year that we're exposed to, they're almost getting 4 times as much radiation as us, and that's a fair bit and would most likely have some sort of consequence on their body in some sort of way.